All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video as the Niners are looking for the rarest of rare finds, and that is the in-season offensive tackle edition. We'll talk about that coming up next. But first, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out, and they do run out. So get there early, get some brisket chili. Tell them that Krug sent you. And this video is brought to you by Sleeper. In fact, this entire 49er football season on the Krug Show is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chat, and season-long leagues. And, of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry, Larry, and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions apply. Make sure you use that promo code Larry, Larry, and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Thanks to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. All right, let's talk a little bit about one of the stories of the day. Spencer Burford is listed as day-to-day. He is the 49ers' backup left tackle. And you got Trent Williams, who's obviously an older player in kind of the twilight of his career. And so the 49ers are in the rarest of rare spots where they are in season and they are looking for an offensive tackle. And they're impossible to find. They're impossible to find in the draft. They're impossible to sign in free agency. It's just really, really hard to find guys who have the size and stature that you need to play in the NFL and also have the footwork and the hand quickness and all the different attributes that go into being a really good offensive tackle. So Burford has been listed as day-to-day. He's got a knee injury. He hurt it on special teams. And so the 49ers have brought in 5 offensive tackles for a workout, and we'll tell you a little bit about the 5 of them. To me, it's an unimpressive list for sure. Matt Waletzko, Zachary Thomas, Brandon Parker, Chris Hubbard, and LaRaven Clark. And I'm going to give you who my favorite of these is, but let's just go through. Let's go through these guys one at a time. So I think the Niners are likely to sign one of these guys, most likely to the practice squad. And we'll see if Burford is forced to miss time. They'll have somebody, there ready and waiting. They also have Austin Pleasance, but Pleasance has played only on the right side so far, so they really don't have a backup left tackle. So let's talk about these guys. Well, Let's Go is interesting. He's 6'8", very, very tall player. But he's not that heavy. He's 6'8". He's very, very thin. He's 312 pounds on a 6'8" frame. He was a 5th-round pick in the 2022 NFL draft, and he did start 4 games in the second half of the 2024 season with the Dallas Cowboys. So that's Let's Go. And I haven't watched tons of film on him, but 6'8", 312 means that he's got great height, but not a lot of heft. So we'll see. 5th-round pick last year with the Cowboys. Thomas is interesting. He started 10 games with the New England Patriots and the Houston Texans, and he did play left tackle, and this was just last year. He did start 1 game with the Rams in the 23 season. He had a rough game, I guess, last year. I'm reading Kyle Posey's notes that Posey said he had a really rough game against the Houston Texans, but he played well in the other games. So Thomas is 27, so he's a younger guy, and he was a good player in college for sure. So now, we'll see if they opt to go with him. Parker is probably the name that, most people know the best. He's 29. He was with the Raiders in 2023. That was the last time he drew a start. He started 13 games with the Raiders back in 2021. He sat out the 2022 season. So he's another gigantic bodied guy. I mean, if you just see him, he passes the eyeball test. As soon as he walks through the door, you're like, whoa, that is an NFL tackle. There is a guy with NFL tackle arm length. There's a guy with NFL tackle physical stature. Brandon Parker looks the part. If there was a movie about a left tackle, he could play the guy in the movie, because he's really central casting as far as an offensive tackle is concerned. Then there's Hubbard. Hubbard has been in the NFL since 2016. He's played a lot, 3,700 career snaps plus. Started 3 games for the New York Giants last year. Started 9 games for the Tennessee Titans in the 2023 season. He's an interesting player as well, and a guy that, is a viable candidate. Now, the guy that I think has the best ability here is LaRaven Clark. He last played in the NFL in the 2022 season with the Tennessee Titans. 18 career starts, over 1,100 career snaps. He's an older guy. He's 32 years of age. I really liked LaRaven Clark, coming out. I mean, you're talking about a guy who a lot of people thought was going to be a big-time player. Very, very, very quick feet. And yet he's really long, and he's smart. He played both right guard and left tackle at Texas Tech. And there were NFL scouts that really thought this guy was going to come into the league and light it up. And it just really hasn't happened. His hands can be a little all over the place. He definitely could benefit from a stronger hand punch, and hand placement has been kind of an issue with him. I like the fact that he kind of plays the game on his toes. He's got real good anchor ability. He's got great quick feet. I mean, if there's one thing about LaRaven Clark, people have been talking about his feet for years. He's got great feet, and he's always had great feet, and he's got ridiculous measurements. I mean, you're talking about he's got the foot quickness to play left tackle, but he's got the length that's really rare. Just to give you an idea of what this guy's dimensions are: 6'5", about 320 pounds, arm length at 36 1/8 inch arm length, 11-inch hands. So just huge. He was a third round pick by the Colts in the 2016 draft, 19th pick of the 3rd round. So this was a guy who was really well thought of coming out. He ran a 5'1", 640, 18 reps on the bench press. He was very, very experienced player. He started 51 straight games at Texas Tech. Spent the final 3 years at left tackle. He spent, as I said, his freshman year, he played at right guard. Every year that he played left tackle in the Big 12, he was all Big 12. So, I think he's a left tackle or a right tackle. Some teams would say no, he's best inside, and he's got the power inside. But he's durable. He's got a pro-ready body. He's always had that. He's a tenacious guy. He's not one of these guys that's kind of sleepy out there. No, he's got prototypical size, arm length, and he's kind of a tenacious fighter. So, a lot of people saw, near Pro Bowl potential in him when he came out, and it never really happened. But here he is. He's 32. He's been around the block. He's played a lot of football. And I think of the guys on this list, once again, if you're looking for, kickers, the Niners found Eddie Pinheiro. He's the 3rd most accurate kicker. He was on the street. If you're looking for, certain positions, running backs, you're going to find guys. Receivers, you're going to find guys. You're never going to find an offensive tackle in season that you find on the street that you're just going to be able to plug in and say, oh, yep, here's the guy. But of these guys, I think LaRaven Clark is probably the best of them. So we'll see. He's also the oldest of the group, I believe. He's the most experienced. But at this point, it's not about youth. It's about getting a polished, ready-to-play prospect. And I think, Firster, we'll see what LaRaven Clark looks like in the workout. But to me, he's the biggest talent of the guys that they worked out. He would be the guy that I would go for, just based on what he was in college and his measurables and what he can do potentially in this offense. I think he makes a lot of sense. So we'll see. Those are the 5 tackles they worked out. I would imagine we're going to hear something later on today. All right. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Sleeper for sponsoring this video. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.